A former secretary of the far-right organization Gays Against Groomers has resigned in protest over the group's support of Ron DeSantis, who released an anti-Trump campaign ad last week that was blasted as homophobic by some gay Republicans. Did you really think they were going to stop at trans people? Did you think they were going to stop at asexuals? Did you think that was going to be it with lesbians? Then it's over. Then we're done. Then no, this whole Nazi elimination project. We're gonna stop at lesbians. Yeah, so I mean, hey, you white gay guys, cis ones, you're set. You're good. Yeah, you'll be the good ones. The pickies. Alright, let me adjust this ever so slightly, but if you haven't heard, and if you don't know, Gays Against Groomers is a hate organization that spends a lot of time basically trying to enact a variety of different forms of legislation against the queer community, specifically usually against trans people, because Gays Against Groomers targets both trans people and oftentimes drag queens. They basically facilitate a lot of right-wing talking points, but now they give the right the ability to be like, well, all of these pick-me's are basically a whole bunch of queer folk who are willing to align, and they, I think, overwhelmingly are white queer people who are willing to align with MAGA and the right in order to help fuel their culture wars and help fuel their fucking eradication project, ultimately, in order to help preserve their own position and standing, broadly speaking, within society and politics. And so obviously it's gross, it's disgusting, it's a hate organization. They lie, they manipulate, they have fucking published tons of weird ass shit in the past, and now one of the founders apparently is going to be resigning. David Leatherwood says, today I would like to announce that I'm formally resigning from my board position with Gays Against Groomers and withdrawing my involvement in the organization. I will always support the mission of GAG and the great and impactful work they're doing to protect kids from indoctrination, medicalization, and sterilization. GAG is a great organization. I have nothing bad to say about the group or its leaders and wish them continued success. My decision to part ways is strictly professional and on good terms with mutual understanding. I greatly admire the organization's passion and effectiveness in the mission of protecting kids and making a positive impact on our culture. Thank you, Against Groomers. Now, I would say if that's all I had read, I would be like, well, that seems fucking, pretty safe, pretty vanilla. Not really anything controversial to be said there. I was wrong, Then Caitlyn Jenner appears, and here's what she has to say. Not the draft you sent my team. Some highly relevant omitted info. You can't play it both ways. So, by the way, if there's new revelations since then, if she has released any new tea or sauce, please let me know. We all need our juice, and I'm ready to have a healthy dose of it. Gays Against Groomers obviously has done the entirety of the right-wing circuit, whether you're Alex Stein, Steven Crowder, fucking Tim Pool. Tim Pool's actually been at Gays Against Groomers meetings. Okay, Grifter Gays. How conspiracy theorists and right-wing operatives created Gays Against Groomers. In January, the Anti-Defamation League released a report naming Gays Against Groomers a group that peddles dangerous and misleading narratives about the LGBTQ+ community, among notable amplifiers of anti-LGBTQ+ rhetoric online. The GAG reacted to the report, as the group has consistently done when it has been called out for targeting LGBTQ+ rights and inclusion, by claiming that a coalition of gay people and its members are incapable of spreading anti-LGBTQ+ propaganda. So, using it as a shield, which is super fucked up. Just because I'm bi, I have no right to try and oppress or help people who are oppressing other groups and then hide behind that as some kind of fucking defense. That's disgusting. It's disgusting, and it's also fucking, it's not a legitimate argument. You can't be like, hey, you're being transphobic. I can't be transphobic. I'm queer. This recent employment history underscores the far-right pedigree of both Mitchell and Leatherwood, a record that includes promotion of QAnon conspiracy theories, intimate involvement with efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election, and empathetic support for the violent actions across January 6th insurrectionists. Here's where everything starts to get a little, like, you're going to feel maybe that we're in this territory, that I'm kind of going to be, and then apparently they're actually directly associated with government and the highest levels of government. They're actually working directly with the Ron DeSantis campaign in certain ways, not insofar as they take direct communication orders, but they will communicate with them publicly in a variety of forums, such as Twitter, for example. And one of Ron DeSantis's, heads of PR and a campaign manager as well will directly parlay with them in order to be able to understand how they should pass legislation and all things like that. Well, it's sounding a bit like a conspiracy theory. It is not. Unfortunately, there's a very, very clear and demonstrable movement amongst Christian nationalists, Christian fascists, the far right, neo-reactionaries, tech-free neo-reactionaries as well, aiding and abetting them, and as well as all the people that they pay downstream. So we're talking Peter Thiel and all these new big tech companies and alternatives to traditional liberal tech, and as well as the fact that, you know, Gays Against Groomers may have some pretty credible association and ties to government. Anti-LGBTQ plus group Gays Against Groomers implodes over a homophobic DeSantis ad. A former secretary of the far-right organization, Gays Against Groomers, has resigned in protest over the group's support of Ron DeSantis, who released an anti-Trump campaign ad last week that was blasted as homophobic by some gay Republicans. David Leatherwood tweeted that his departure from the group's board was directly related to the founder's outspoken support for DeSantis, in light of his recent ad that is extremely anti-gay. Did you really think they were going to stop at trans people? Did you think they were going to stop at asexuals? Did you think that was going to be with lesbians? Then it's over. Then we're done. Then no. This whole Nazi elimination project. We're going to stop at lesbians. Yeah. So I mean, hey, you white gay guys, cis ones, you're set. You're good. Yeah. You'll be the good ones. The pickies. GAG was founded by conservative activist Jamie Mitchell in April 2022 and has campaigned against gender-affirming care for minors, LGBTQ plus content in school curricula, drag queen story hour events. Caitlyn Jenner, who was featured disparagingly in DeSantis' new attack ad, tweeted that she, quote, cannot be affiliated with GAG, and Mitchell was on the payroll for DeSantis and should step down. Leatherwood is not the first activist to part ways with GAG. Mario Presents, former director of the chapters of GAG, tweeted Wednesday that the organization is hemorrhaging members due to Mitchell's obsession with the controversy. Now, what is Ron DeSantis doing, you ask? Him and Trump are having a ghoul off. And right now, because the culture wars that the right have focused on, and they have hyper-focused on it, look at the numbers via Media Matters. The right are obsessed with trans issues on Facebook. All of the biggest the most amount of articles, posting, discussions about trans issues are coming from right-wing fucking Facebook sites. Now, if you're about to say, well, yes, but they dominate Facebook, which they do, you are correct. The right does. Ben Shapiro, Daily Wire, all of their sites, Stan Bongino, they get the views on Facebook. It is a fucking let's radicalize your grandparents' webpage. All that being said, the second results that came out from that same study showed that right-wing accounts, personal accounts, also contribute the vast majority of discussion and posts about trans people, oftentimes about trans women. So no matter how you look at it, they are obsessed, and they are the ones who will not stop talking about this. Does that translate to votes? Turns out no. Turns out it's just weird. It's just a weird obsession that is incredibly fucking public and is the reason for, I'm sure, a lot of divorce proceedings. Yes, there's a lot of child custody going down and debates about that because of what is going on very transparently out in the open by all these people. That is 100% the fact. But is this translating to normies seeing a DeSantis ad for the first time where he's just like, yeah, I'm the alpha male, I'm the fucking Chad of all Chads, I hate queers more than Trump. Trump doesn't hate queers as much as me. Look how fucking much I hate queers. I am the ultimate alpha. No, it just looks weird. Like you see right now, DeSantis is fucking going down in the polls across the board because, yeah, while it's probably going to continue to be promoted because Trump is doing the same thing, Trump is also like, yeah, we are going to eliminate all unnecessary mutilations of children. No more children getting mutilated. You know, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, fine. They're having a who is more fucking awful off. Cool stuff. DeSantis is losing. DeSantis is losing that. He's not in the process of doing too great. Let me pull up Aries' article 1 second.
The glitz and the glamour, all in a day's work for drag queen Satine Allure.
Drag is an art form. Drag is no different than someone putting on a wig, makeup, and a costume, getting on a stage and putting on a play.
But it's Pride Month, and this show in Cary, North Carolina is different. It's not Bright Lights Big City, it's story time for children.
He took pride in his pies, cakes, bars.
For organizers, this event is taking place against an alarming rise in anti-LGBTQ plus harassment and attacks nationally. A recent study showing a 4-fold increase in incidents from 2020 to 2021. And the Anti-Defamation League tracking 7 incidents.
Just realized it's a Dark Knight fucking like cover. Not public domain, a commercial you can buy the rights to licensed song in the background, but it's totally using the same fucking the initial strings of, you know, the theme that was used for the Joker mixed with the background, like dun, 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 dun.
And the Anti-Defamation League tracking 7 incidents over the course of just one weekend this month.
It's sexual.
Thank you.
It's sexual.
In California's Bay Area, protesters at one drag queen story hour event got especially heated.
8 to 10 Proud Boys marched in with their cameras blazing, pointed at me, jeering from the back.
A group of
Now, this is a little bit old news, but you've all heard already about all the fucking extremism, and it's obviously ramping up globally. It's happening in Canada right now as well. We have a mass stabbing that occurred in Waterloo at a gender studies class. There, of course, was the incident in Kelowna in which a really weird old fucking man wanted to yell at a young cis girl, by the way, an 8-year-old cis girl, accusing her of being trans because she won at a track and field event. This stuff is obviously becoming worse. It's ramping up. There is fucking consistent bomb threats and death threats to organizations that even fucking deign to have pride merchandise of any kind now. There's, of course, people shooting up power grids, throwing fucking Molotovs into fucking bakeries and shit like that. Like, there is a lot of real world frightening violence that is accelerating at a pretty rapid pace. A lot of it does have to do with organizations like Gays Against Groomers. The really shitty thing about people like Gays Against Groomers is that not only does it give, again, the far right the ability to say, hey, by the way, we are not bigots the way we are being portrayed. We actually align with sensible gays, the ones that can actually acknowledge that this is child mutilation. Like, yeah, that's what you're doing. That's the purpose that you serve, and it's effective, and that's the reason why everyone fucking does it. Now, Ari Drennan released this yesterday. Important context, as a Gays Against Groomer founder quits over allegations that co-founder Jamie Mitchell is on the DeSantis payroll. More than 23 members of the organization have quit recently, including the director of operations, director of chapters, and a New York chapter leader. The founder ruined the movement. She prioritized status and money over the mission of protecting children. If that's the case, I'll be in full support of the organization falling apart, but the way he worded it so far, it seems like it's simply drama. There are over 22 members who have left in the past 2 months. Are all 22 members also full of drama? I'm one of the previous members who quit. This excellent piece chronicles the rise of Gays Against Groomers. Well, okay, so this actually goes a little bit further. One of the most wild revelations coming out of the backlash over the anti-trans and anti-gay ad released by DeSantis team is that the Gays Against Groomers organization is basically a Ron DeSantis AstroTurf organization, confirming what we thought all along. Which, by the fucking way, isn't this the shit that, like, the Twitter files are supposed to be exposing? Oh, thank you, Political Poppy.
Political Poppy gave Cuckfapitalism a tier 1 subscription.
Cuckfapitalism, that's funny. Isn't this the shit? Isn't this like, hey, by the way, there are high levels of government that seem to be directly colluding with a supposed nonprofit organization that also acts as a media empire in many ways, that puts out a lot of content in a variety of digital media that actually gets people quite angry, incendiary, mad, to the point that they will actually enact violence and or terrorism on the behalf of the shit that they are being indoctrinated by Gays Against Groomers and all these other fucking far right hate groups. And it turns out they seem to be in cahoots with DeSantis and the DeSantis team. Not that surprising, I agree. Not that surprising, but still needs to be fucking exposed for what it is. Gay and trans Republicans who stayed quiet as DeSantis signed anti-LGBTQ plus book bans, drag bans, bathroom bans, and healthcare bans finally drew the line at a campaign video featuring a shirtless bodybuilder. One detail about this whole bizarre story that I'm stuck on is DeSantis War Room shared the video 25 minutes after it was first published. Either they knew it was coming, or this was an example of staff getting him into hot water by tweeting first and asking questions later. Shared by the popular Twitter account Proud Elephant on June 30th and amplified by the DeSantis War Room, and just 25 minutes later, the video features clips of former President Donald Trump promising to allow trans contestants into the Miss Universe pageant and affirming that he would allow Caitlyn Jenner to use any bathroom she chooses in Trump Tower. Those comments are set alongside headlines touting a draconian anti-LGBTQ plus policy that DeSantis has adopted. And oh, how the feasting is amazing. Feast away, you hungry leopards. Eat each other's faces over and over and over again. Please, everyone, turn on each other. You'll love to see it. It's amazing. What the fuck did you think? You don't get in bed with fucking fascists and Nazis and people who hate queer folk and want to do elimination projects and think there's going to be a fucking middle ground. Like there's going to be a fucking a rational limit, okay, to the extermination projects. They'll stop at a certain letter. Okay, let's just hope. Let's hope. DeSantis' assault on leftism is totalitarianism in disguise. You can tell a lot about a campaign by who its staff is. DeSantis' campaign includes Christina Pushaw, who once shared a news report about queer families fleeing Florida with a hand wave emoji, and Ken Cuccinelli, who tried to ban consensual oral sex between adults. How old-fashioned wait, sorry, cishets can't get fucking blowjobs anymore? Oh man. You know what? I guarantee you so many fucking Republicans and fucking red pill, MGTOW, alpha males are all fucking so relieved by that. Oh, thank God. I don't have to eat pussy. Thank God. Pussy's so gross. Oh, yeah, pussy's gross. No, it looks like a fucking gross thing, you know? Yeah, sick. You testicles. Gentlemen. Eat the pussy, it's glorious. Probably the most interesting result of the video is that it's hastened the collapse of the already floundering Gays Against Groomers, which has been revealed as a DeSantis front group. Someday we'll find out what Jamie Mitchell was paid to sell out her community. DeSantis is picking a very odd line of attack, hitting Trump for allowing trans women to compete in Miss Universe, implying that either that or his concerns about fairness in sports are a fig leaf to the broader bigotry, or that trans women have an unfair advantage in beauty pageants. DeSantis has picked up this issue as the place to draw the line, in contrast with former president telling Tommy Lauren yesterday that, quote, identifying Donald Trump as being a pioneer in injecting gender ideology into the mainstream, I think is totally fair game. So, this is what they're going to fucking do. This is where they're going to go forward with this shit. I mean, the writing's on the fucking wall, you know? Right-wing LGBTQ+ influencers switch teams as homophobic video shared by DeSantis campaign draws widespread condemnation. Shirtless bodybuilders, techno beats, clips from American Psycho. The campaign president has come a long way from whistle-stop tours and earnest jingles, in a new video highlighting Ron DeSantis' anti-LGBTQ+ record has drawn condemnation from some gay and trans rights right-wing media figures and some commentators pointing out its bizarre homoerotic subtext. Thank you. I wasn't the only one. Thank you. I was like, this is simultaneously one of the horniest and most insecure things I've ever seen in my life. And like, is there a word for that in another language that I don't know about, you know, where it combines that, like in Japanese or German or something, where it's like, yes, simultaneously extremely horny and at the same time so fucking insecure. Like, wow. Oftentimes, those two things do not combine. Shared by popular Twitter account Proud Elephant on June 30 and amplified by the account DeSantis War Room just 25 minutes later, the video features clips of former President Donald Trump promising to allow trans contestants into Miss Universe pageants and affirming that he would allow Caitlyn Jenner to use any bathrooms he chooses. Those comments are set alongside headlines touting draconian anti-LGBTQ+ policies DeSantis has adopted as governor, including one stating that DeSantis' assault on leftism is totalitarianism in disguise. To wrap up Pride Month, let's hear from the politician who did more than any other Republican to celebrate it. The video has accumulated nearly 25 million views on Twitter alone. While Trump's first run for president featured what seemed like signs of thaw in the right-wing culture war on LGBTQ+ equality, this time in office it was marked by policies that enable discrimination against queer and trans people. Alright, we can watch it again.
I will do everything in my power to protect our LGBTQ citizens.
If Caitlyn Jenner were to walk into Trump Tower and want to use the bathroom, you would be fine with her using any bathroom she chooses.
That is correct.
In the future, can transgender women compete in Miss Universe?
Yes.
Make America great again.
See what I mean? See what I mean? like, so horny. So fucking horny, but so insecure. Like, when do these two things, they don't often meet, you know?
I cannot think of anything more horrifying.
It really has shut down.
Why did you put that clip of DeSantis, like, laughing like a billionaire? Like, that doesn't appeal to the common man, you know? The common man is not looking at someone going like, yeah, just like me. He's just like me.
Drag just produced some of the harshest, most draconian laws.
Mike, by the way, if you haven't seen, go to the Humanist Report channel. Mike has an entire video on his appearance in this now infamous video and being a key player in the midst of it. And hey, I mean, that's, if nothing else, I would say a fucking high-ass compliment to Mike to be thrown in the middle of all this horny.
That literally threaten trans existence.
Congratulations, Ron DeSantis. Mission accomplished. You win.
This governor does not care. Look at Brad Pitt. Look at Brad Pitt. You remember sexy young Brad Pitt? Yes, look at it. Oh, yeah, what movie was that again? American Psycho? What was American Psycho about again? The Wolf of Wall Street. I'm sorry. No, Jordan Belfort is not something that you would fucking be akin to. Are you kidding me? Ron DeSantis, you are fucking railing quaaludes off sex workers' assholes? That's what you're known for? That's the thing that everyone's gonna have to like be like, oh yes, if there's one thing I do know about Ron DeSantis, is he does like to snort a good quaalude off an ass. That's old Ronaldo, you know? He just loves a good toot. No, it's not ironic. This is fucking, this is manly shit. All right. To all the boys in the audience. And I know I celebrate often the fact that we do actually have quite a diverse amount of different genders in here. You know, we have men and women who watch the show, and we have non-binary people who enjoy it as well. And I love that. I love that. But this one's for the boys, you know, this is just dudes doing dude shit, you know, dudes rock. Man, oh man, men are not okay. I'm gonna have to ramp up the reappealing to you know, the fucking, we gotta cut the MGTOW and the red pill and all these sneakos and Andrew Tates off before they fucking infect more minds, and fucking get ahead of it and start making content directly appealing to the fact that yes, men are suffering. It's hard out there to be a guy. It's hard out there to be a young man. It's hard out there to be a boy. It's hard out there for everybody. And yes, it is hard for men, especially when you don't have the tool set. We don't have the tools to equip ourselves and deal with a lot of these things. Like, you know, discussing and talking about emotion without being called an F-slur. It's nearly impossible for men these days, you know? But then they got picked up by the people who are like, yeah, it is hard out there. Yes. And do you want to destroy your enemies? Do you want to conquer? Do you want to crush the puss? If you want all that, then you got to buy that course. Get that Discord code, get in there, you know, start giving me money so I can teach you how to be a man. The former president vowed in a January speech to make an even more draconian approach to trans policies if elected to a second term, including the creation of a new credentialing body for teachers, which will promote positive education about the nuclear family and the roles of mothers and fathers. Fucking grifter. He also promised to force people to select a binary gender marker on federal identification documents and to ask Congress to pass a bill establishing that the only genders recognized by the United States government are male and female, and they are assigned at birth. Yeah, like extremism, absolutely. That's how fast all this has gone. In one direction, Ron DeSantis is pointing out that a lot of this is a grift in a lot of ways, because this is not in your heart of hearts, Donald. You know, you were a fucking capitalist, neo-lib, fucking, you know, liberal New Yorker businessman. You know, you had gay friends. You weren't ashamed of it. You weren't ashamed of saying that you would be fine having trans women eventually compete in the Miss Universe pageants. You were also pro-choice. Liberal New Yorker shit. But hey, that's not what the Republicans want. That's not what they're fucking asking for. None of it seems, is enough for Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, whose campaign team includes one political operative, Christina Pushaw, who in 2022 helped reignite false accusations against queer folk that they are grooming children sexually. Another, Ken Susanili, once promised to ban consensual oral sex for everybody. Perhaps unsurprisingly, Susanili says that he did not think that the DeSantis video went too far. LGBTQ plus influencers, a member of right-wing media, were swift to denounce the video, with base political co-founder Brad Palumbo saying that DeSantis was going mask off, Fox News contributor Caitlyn Jenner calling it a new low, Log Cabin Republican President Charles Morin pointing out that the ad smacked both homophobia and homoeroticism at the same time. Hell yeah, it did. Hell yeah, baby. Fuck yeah. I would love to have some encounters with you know, the Brad Pitts of the world, the Chad man. Don't know his name, but he is quite Chadly. DeSantis is being pillared not just by the libs, but by the squishies on the right. The squishies for an ad that people say is homophobic before praising him for threatening the sexual revolution. Oh, that was Michael Knowles. I was like, squishies? Oh, it's Michael Knowles, of course. Yeah, all those little squishies. You know, DeSantis is being pillared by not just the libs, but the squishies.
The inevitable logical conclusion of the Pride movement was, we're going to go into your kids' kindergarten and we're going to teach them wild ideologies about sex and gender and not only the relations between the sexes and within the sexes, but even one's understanding of human nature itself. And people have just said enough with that. The DeSantis campaign is capitalizing on this right now, and DeSantis is being pilloried, not just by the libs, but by the squishes on the right for an ad that people are saying
is that, hey, sorry, is this a thing? I'm not in fucking white gay right-wing circles at all. That is not my world. I do not know what goes on behind the scenes, and I don't know what terms they share amongst themselves or what the lingo is. So I didn't know that was the name for fucking, like, that is clearly a derogatory term by the right against their own because they're gay. You're never going to be straight enough. I'm sorry, fellow queers who are on the right. They'll never truly accept you. You're always going to be as acceptable as they want you to be, right? Why do you think, like, fucking, how sad is it when Dave Rubin has to go to Ben Shapiro and be like, Ben, can I come for a barbecue, please? It's so sad to see. Then old Ben's like, well, come, but how gay? How gay we gonna be? Like, you gonna be fucking, I don't know, sucking on a dude's toes or some shit? Gonna be holding hands? You gonna talk about gay shit? Alright, it's just gonna be like lube everywhere, you know? Amyl nitrates, fucking condoms, I don't know, chairs that swing from the ceiling. Whatever you gay people are up to.
homophobic. Here's the ad.
I will do everything in my power to protect our LGBTQ citizens.
If Caitlyn Jenner were to walk into
Trump
Trump
hanging
Tower
out with Bruce Jenner,
and
Trump
use the bathroom,
holding up
you
a
would be
rainbow
fine
flag.
with her using any bathroom she chooses.
That is correct.
In the future, can transgender women compete in Miss
Lady
Universe?
MAGA.
Yes.
So it's the term for anyone who's a conservative but balks at any of the consequences of the conservative movement plans gets called a squish. Oh, so it's not gay specific. Okay, well then I was too fast on my homophobic draw there. I will retract that statement. It is a derogatory term, not specifically just for gay people, but it's for anyone who points out the consequences of the right's actual fucking policies being implemented and how fucking terrible they are, how detrimental they can be to society.
Who's a drag queen who's pro-Trump. And then DeSantis comes in and just says no. You see all these like Sigma memes, Patrick Bateman, DeSantis signs a draconian anti-LGBT bill. You see the Chad meme guy, like super strong guy.
Shut down.
DeSantis unstoppable.
Some of the harshest, most draconian laws that literally threaten trans existence.
Congratulations, Ron DeSantis. Mission accomplished. You win.
This governor does not care. DeSantis on a crusade. A real wolf had finally arrived. Wolf of Wall Street. So
Has everyone done this? Has every single right winger? Is there a Ben Shapiro video where he's doing the same thing? You know, doing the React Andy in the corner. Put me over here for a second. Put me in, coach. I'm ready. All right, let's do this and just get it official.
Wall Street. So really leaning into this online Sigma male, socially conservative, no, we're not going to tolerate this rainbow pride stuff anymore. I think it's a great ad. I think it's a great...
Yeah, oh, nothing more manly than being a fucking bigot in 2023. I'm such a man that I'm insecure by people who have sex with people who are the same gender because I'm a man.
Great ad. One, because it's funny. It's a self-aware ad. I don't think anybody really believes that Ron DeSantis is going to be, instituting Sharia law and throwing homosexuals off rooftops, right? Nobody really believes that. But the ad, with all of its Sigma male, Patrick Bateman kind of vaporwave aesthetic, is
I'm sorry, what? Patrick Bateman? Sigma? He's a serial killer. It's a book and a movie about a serial killer who murders people, cuts them up, puts their fucking body parts in ATMs. He murders cats. Like, he's not supposed to be the cool guy. You know what I took from American Psycho? I want to be Patrick Bateman. That was my analysis about that book and that film. Yes, definitely. I want you to become that. Even if you want to be like, okay, and spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen American Psycho, but I'm sorry, you've had enough time. You should know. And read the book too. The book's actually excellent. The very idea that the entire thing may be entirely in his head and the entire thing could be a metaphor, for example, for the cruelty, exploitation, and ultimate damage and death that can be caused under capitalism and the capitalist system and the very rat race of American consumption, consumerism, and the very idea of succeeding in life. Like, yeah, still not the hero. You know what an anti-hero is, right? You don't watch a movie where the dude fucking puts cats in ATMs and I'm like, yes, Sigma behavior. That, yeah, we should all be so lucky as to be a manly man.
Showing people a real aspect of his political legacy and his accomplishments, which is we're not going to enshrine special protections for this disordered view of humanity.
I want a skin routine. I mean, yes, that should be emulated. The morning one that he had, not the wearing other people's skin part, but the morning one where he actually, did that little peeling of the face mask and everything. That probably,
human nature. We're going to be nice to people. We're going to tolerate things.
Also about how fucking empty and vacuous all of it is, right? Like, that's the entire purpose of grown-ass adults actually losing their shit over the differences in the hue of white fucking business cards, like you're supposed to find that ridiculous. You're supposed to see that scene and not think, this is fucking alpha. He's got that bone marrow white. Yeah, and those other people have eggshell. Deeply embarrassing for them. He's a Sigma. No, it's that, like, look how ridiculous this is. 3 grown-ass adults who are fucking titans of industry are all sitting there and they're actually fucking pissing themselves in nervousness that they don't have the coolest of white fucking tones on their business cards. It's satire. It's supposed to be fucking ridiculous.
Within reason, but no, we're going to roll back the pride movement that's now made it all the way into your kid's kindergarten classroom. And it's really, really good. And he's smart to go after Trump on this because Trump is by far the most pro-LGBT LMNOP candidate that the GOP.
What does Trump have to do? If Trump is like, basically, I'm going to implement a whole bunch of policies that will directly make the lives of trans people not only more difficult, in some cases nearly impossible, as part of an elimination project. He didn't say the second part, but that's basically what the writing on the wall says. So he's going that far, way further than any other politician has basically said day one. Like, other people have not been like, day one, my policy is going to be go after the radical trans agenda. That's what I offer you as your president. And by the way, I firmly believe if that's going to be a strategy, it's going to be an absolute disaster because, again, as all these election cycles seem to be showing, people having their rights eroded drives people to the polls way more than, hey, I'm going to go after the marginalized, and that's what I offer you. It's like, what about, like, inflation, the job markets, the difficulty, app economy, exploitation, fucking healthcare? Anything about healthcare? Nope. Hey, well, how about this? Healthcare in the form of, I'm going to take healthcare away from trans kids. That's going to be what I offer you in terms of healthcare. What do you think about that? So yeah, trans kids won't have healthcare. Gays Against Groomers and its founder, Jamie Mitchell, were initially quiet regarding the video, drawing allegations that their silence had more to do with financial support for DeSantis, entitled The Principal, but then co-founder David Leatherwood resigned from his position in the group, part of a larger series of senior staff departures. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis assigned bills preventing the discussion of LGBTQ+ identities in schools, targets drag shows, criminalizing trans people using bathrooms of their lived gender, banning gender-affirming care for minors, and making access to care far more difficult, even for trans adults. All of this is so gross, by the way. It's all gross. People need to be able to identify how gross it all is. Stay out of fucking strangers' bathrooms. Don't fucking occupy yourself with what strangers are doing with their genitals in bathrooms. Fucking, why is that your business? Why do you fucking want to police people and whether or not they shit in a certain corner of the planet? That's so weird. Why do you want to fucking inspect kids' genitals? That's pedo shit. That's groomer shit. Like, fucking leave them kids alone. DeSantis defended the video in an interview with Outkick's Tomi Lahren, saying, identifying Donald Trump as a pioneer and in injecting gender ideology into the mainstream. I think that's totally fair game.
The DeSantis War Room Twitter account put out a video attacking Donald Trump for, I guess, his advocacy for the LGBTQ community. And some people on the Trump side, and then, of course, the liberals, some people in between, they were pretty upset at that video. It features Caitlyn Jenner and other folks. What do you say? What was the intent of that video? And it was not put out by you, but it was put out by an account linked to you. What's your response to all the backlash?
I mean, I think, identifying Donald Trump as really being a pioneer in injecting gender ideology into the mainstream, where he was having men compete against women in his beauty pageants, I think that's totally fair game, because he's now campaigning saying the opposite, that he doesn't think that you should have men.
Your fucking entire campaign is in the toilet, the very place that you want to police and make sure that people of the right gender and genitalia are in the right toilet. Like, it's fucking garbage. It's trash. It's hot fire. You are plummeting in the polls. This is not a winning strategy. And yet you will double and triple down. Surely at a certain point, the regular everyday working American is going to stop thinking about their own lives and start thinking about how much can we make the lives of strangers harder. Surely. It's got to work eventually, right?
And competing in women's things like athletics. And so we've been very clear on it, that we believe in protecting the rights of our girls and the rights of women athletes to be able to participate with fairness and with integrity. And ultimately, when you talk about some of the gender ideology that's being unleashed in this country, in the state of Florida, we are fighting back against that clearly in schools. But I think even beyond that, it's just a fundamental issue of, what role? I think it's an attack on women's rights more broadly.
Tomi Lahren is fearless. Man, everyone has so much insecurity on the right. It's like the calling card of the right. Every single person has to fucking posture nonstop this LARPy ass shit. I thought fucking tankies are LARPers. No, they don't hold a candle to the right wing. Steven Crowder's got to have fucking guns attached to his breasts at all times, just so people know how much of a fucking man he is. Now he's ready to fucking kill. Yeah, I'll kill. I got a gun on my desk, bro. What do you think? Tomi Lahren is fearless. Fearless, I fear no cancellation. No one will ever cancel me. It's impossible. DeSantis has picked this issue as the place to draw the contrast with the former president, telling Tomi Lahren yesterday that identifying Donald Trump as being a pioneer in injecting gender ideology into the mainstream. I think that's totally a fair game. Well, no surprise, but obviously, hey, it's news, everybody. Gays Against Groomers, a quote-unquote non-profit organization, is a hate organization that is directly working, it seems, with the DeSantis and the DeSantis War Room to be able to spread their bigotry. Yeah, call it for what it is, an extension of the DeSantis fucking fascist anti-LGBTQ plus agenda. That's what it is. And anyone who fucking comes forward to talk about how Gays Against Groomers is actually just a team of concerned adults about how trans ideology is going to... No, it isn't. It's a hate group. It's a hate group working directly with the fascists. Extremists and Trump operatives run Gays Against Groomers, according to a new report. The more we learn about the people behind Gays Against Groomers, the more it feels like the real name should be gays who are grifting. A new investigative report this week from media watchdog Media Matters for America has revealed that Gays Against Groomer founder Jamie Mitchell and her partners are former Trump acolytes employed by conservative communication companies using QAnon conspiracies and ties to extremist militias to spread anti-transgender propaganda. When accused of peddling homophobia and transphobia, researchers wrote, GAG frequently claims that there is a coalition of gay people and its members are incapable of spreading anti-LGBTQ plus propaganda, but far from being a grassroots organization, as they claim on their official merchandise page, where t-shirts are currently on sale for $30. GAG is the project of several right-wingers who stand politically and financially to profit from anti-trans rhetoric. That's also the shitty thing about this, by the way. And yeah, they work often with libs of TikTok. They work with various fucking other people, Seth Rich, blah, blah, blah. It's fucking for the monies. For the monies. All right. That's about all I have to say about this. It's not a grassroots organization. No, it's a hate group. It's 100% a hate group.
Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form. Available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
Thank you kindly to our Lord and Saviors Peyton L. Just and Xander Corvus. Without you, we are nothing. And now, a shout out to our Knights of the Square Table. Amazing Flesh, Anna Loves Riley, Adrian McCarthy, DM Rivera, Doug Cady, Everything Important, Hegbard Celine, Izzy Solidarity, La Media Panza, Matthew Scarborough, Multimondi, Nettle, Omni, Peanut Butter Blonde, Political Papi, Quiet 185, Rachel K, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Kubi, Cernicus, Spinach Monster, Stellar Vision, Sebastian Demmel, Thomas, Trevbot EXE, Lucidry, Words Greenwood, Cheryl Alvarez, Tony Perkins, Thomas, O'Pecker, Travis McClinton, and Victoria Bell. Thank you so much. And a huge shout out to all the other people who make this entire show possible. Without you, it would not exist. If you can support us, please go to patreon.com/theserfs, and even $1 can help unlock all of the little goodies and help make this show entirely possible.